Let's talk about town meeting day.
Yes.
Main Street, streetscapes, upgrades. I told you earlier that was a mouthful to say. This is important to you. What will we get out of this if this passes?
This is an important project, Lauren, that I fully support. This would essentially be a rebuilding of Main Street from Memorial Auditorium all the way down to the old train station at the bottom of Main Street. This is the only one of just two streets in the whole city where the city owns a 99-foot wide right-of-way, and for right now we have asphalt over a great deal of that right-of-way. And what this upgrade is about is to say Main Street can be more than just the roadway and the parking spaces. That there's also an opportunity to have Main Street be a great place, that there can be better facilities for pedestrians, that there can be more opportunities for outdoor eating, for art, that we can do a better job of both controlling runoff into Lake Champlain and using the stormwater to make sure we have really healthy street trees and great landscaping on Main Street. This will be really a transformation of Main Street that I think over the long term will be seen as almost as significant an upgrade and improvement as the rebuilding of Church Street was 40 years ago. This is a really significant investment in the vibrancy and the appeal of our downtown. And the good news for voters is that because of the tax increment financing district, which is another mouthful, but it's an important term, what that means is that people can vote yes on this $30 million project and there will be no impact on their property taxes. So it's, I really encourage anyone, it's a little hard to just describe how great this is going to be. There is a website, greatstreetsbtv.com, where people can go and see images of this upgrade if you haven't. And I think everyone is going to love this redesign. Once it's done, we're going to make sure that the construction period there's as little disruption and as much support for the businesses that are alongside Main Street as possible. And over time, again, I think this is going to be a link between the waterfront and Church Street that people over time will really love.
Also on the ballot is the capital improvement bond, which failed in December. So how important is it for you now to get this across the finish line?
This is a really important initiative as well. What is coming back to voters is
and there's a change, correct?
There's a number of big changes. Yeah, so it's almost 40% reduced from the December proposal. It also addresses two of the big concerns that I heard when I was talking to voters about that December proposal, which people should remember, it had a lot of support. It had 57% of the vote, but the way our charter works, 57 is a win in politics most of the time, right? But to take on, the way our charter works, it says if you're going to take on this long-term debt to make, this is a serious decision for the community. It involves years of debt payments, and so it requires a 2/3 vote. Why I think, and I'm hopeful that the outcome will be different this time, is that first of all, it's smaller. Second of all, it is we no longer are putting substantial dollars into Memorial Auditorium. That was a real concern of a number of voters, is that we were essentially making that discretionary investment in Memorial Auditorium, $10 million, when we have this big question about our high school and how much that project is going to cost that are hanging out there. So that has been removed. What we're down to now is, and that I really hope voters are focused on and understand is, this is investments in necessary public safety equipment, 3 fire engines, the radios and radio antennas that firefighters and police officers need to be connected with dispatch. That the city builds and maintains that system, and it's been many years since we invested in it. We need to do that. There's money in here, and this is another change from the fall. We now know that we will be able to get significant funds out of the federal infrastructure bill that has been passed in recent months. To get those dollars, however, though, you have to put up local dollars. You need local matching dollars, and so this has
Okay.
$4 million of local matching funds that will allow us to leverage many millions more from the federal government. So all boils down to is people go in and they vote or they come in. They're already voting. You know, the election is underway. The ballots are out there. The decision people face is if you vote yes, if this passes, when 3 years from now, when the bond is fully drawn down, the cost to the average Burlington homeowner will be about $7 more a month. For that $7 a month, you will get continued major investments in streets, major investments in sidewalks, investments in this public safety infrastructure and in these matching funds. And a no vote doesn't really result in saving all that, because some of these things we will need to do anyway. We just won't be able to spread the costs out over. I don't think anyone would think we don't need emergency radio equipment. We just won't be able to spread those costs out over a 20-year period anymore. That will put new pressures on the budgets over the coming years. And so.
And you don't want to wait until November?
Well, no. I mean, town meeting day is typically when a lot of these local investment decisions are made, and so I think there's a lot of precedent. This is typically when we do it, and then secondly, waiting until November would mean losing another construction season. It'd be another construction season without making these investments in sidewalks and streets that I think Burlingtonians really want us to make.
The proposed charter change to remove the city council authority to regulate sex workers. Is this largely symbolic, since prostitution is against the law in Vermont?
You know, I think that is the way to think of it. Although when you say largely symbolic, it sounds like it has a kind of negative connotation to it. But I think language matters. I think what the reason that there has been a lot of energy.
What's the goal with the yes
vote? The goal of this is to remove what many people find to be very offensive and kind of one-sided language within Burlington's charter that is really kind of archaic language. It uses this term "houses of ill repute," I think, and it is really kind of asymmetrical, and that really focuses on women and doesn't, I think, really reflect our modern understanding that sex workers are often the victims of exploitation. And so this removes that from the Burlington Charter. It does not, the reason you're correct in thinking of this as symbolic in a sense is that the state laws remain in effect. It remains illegal. Prostitution remains illegal in Burlington. There is unlikely to be, no one has been prosecuted under these local ordinances in many, many years. And so that is why ultimately, you know, I was persuaded by this argument that, you know, this is a change that we should do.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks for joining us.
Lauren, thank you. Always good to see you.
We'll be right back on What Matters This Week.